Welcome, everyone. I'm Matt Franklin, your portfolio coach, and I really appreciate you being here today. And I want to thank you for choosing to learn a little bit more about the development process behind Portfolio Degree. In an effort to give you a little bit of the behind the scenes look at how we arrived at and eventually built this program, the first thing we'd like you to understand is that this was the culmination of about 12 years of work. This is something that I started working on back in about 2011 when I was going to grad school. I had a class project that was all about portfolio construction, and while our group was working through that process, I just thought if you could add a few layers, mainly the letter grades, that would make things much easier for individuals who don't have that educational background to understand, how to do this. So that was kind of a original inspiration and my starting point for the letter grades. Then for a few years, I built some different spreadsheet models to test the different theories, just to see if it would even work. And after doing some of the initial testing and building out some presentations to explain the concept, I got a lot of positive feedback, so I knew I wanted to keep going. Unfortunately, I got a little sidetracked. I was kind of bad at fantasy football, and I can't stand losing, and I had kind of hit rock bottom with that a few times already, so I ended up leveraging a lot of the statistics that go into this program, and I applied that to fantasy football. It actually worked pretty well. I built a program and wrapped it into a website, and overall, it was a great learning experience, but ultimately I'm not a football expert, so it doesn't make sense for me to try to run a fantasy football business. It's fun to see, though, that fantasy grades, which are a concept that I started advertising back in 2015, are actually quite common anymore. Although looking through some of those websites, I don't see any of the websites where they're actually math-based. The vast majority of them look fairly subjective. But regardless, by 2016, I reoriented myself back towards producing this program, and I really started to begin to use my time outside of my full-time profession to build some of the SQL models that are necessary in order to produce the data for these materials. It ended up taking me about a year and a half, maybe 2 years to automate the spreadsheets, but once I had the assets and I was able to grade them, then it was all about how do I build the portfolios and what does it take to do that. So I worked through that and continued to expand the models and test for more things. Then sort of once COVID hit in 2020, I had a little bit more time at home and was able to really kind of think through the process of testing the system more and how do you even begin to set up tests like that. And that's where a lot of our research results ended up coming from. Those results really helped me hone in the system and allow me to begin to understand that there are actually strategies behind all of this and that they pop when you begin to graph these results and show them in certain ways. And you'll see that. Then in 2022, I actually was going back through my fantasy football model of all things and trying to update my system so it was ready for my draft that year. And I ended up sending out my draft table to a few different individuals. And they called me and told me that, while it was cool and all, that they don't live in a world of spreadsheets. So I was asked if I could make a quick training video for how to use it. So it was actually working through that process of creating a training video for that I really enjoyed, and that got me thinking about creating training videos for the stock and portfolio research. So in the fall of 2022, I began building all the training decks that I'm walking you through now that ultimately became the training program. And then throughout 2023 was when I really kind of finished a lot of those decks, but then I also built a lot of the support technologies that are out there as well. So once we got to that point, we started recording the videos, we went live, and really we haven't looked back. So it's been a really cool experience so far, and I'm just grateful that I was able to kind of follow through on all of this and actually bring it into existence. So just know that this program, it hasn't come together overnight, and there's been a lot of time and effort and research that has gone into this. Now, you might be thinking, what qualifications do I have? How do I even know how to do this? Well, let me walk you through a little of my education and work background. I earned my bachelor's degree from Western Michigan University in 2008, where I studied finance and I minored in communications. Then I went and I got a couple years of work experience, and I decided I wanted to go back and get my MBA. I attended Georgia State University and graduated in 2014. Instead of having a major, I have a dual concentration in business economics and finance, which just means that rather than have one major with a few electives, I took the coursework for two majors and just had no electives. So it's really my educational background that got me started on this path. And that last slide, then explained to you how I built it all. So knowing my educational background, while I am, educated like a financial advisor, I'm not one. So I want to differentiate that there is more of a difference between us than just certifications. A lot of what you're going to talk about with a financial advisor relates to financial products and different financial vehicles that you can purchase from them. That is a world that I don't have experience in. There are some financial products that we do touch on throughout this training program, but our intention is to introduce you to them and then encourage you to go out and talk with the financial professionals to find out more about them. So somebody that works in that world should not only have that classical education like me, they'll also have that real world experience of selling all the different financial products, and they'll know, what type of vehicles are available to you and talk you through the choices that align with your strategy. So in terms of my career path, to give you a little background, when I was in high school and in college, I worked in retail sales for a number of years. Toward the end of my college, I started doing customer service, and then once I graduated, I got into professional sales and marketing for a few years. I ended up working for a manufacturing, handling sales and going to promotional events and trade shows. I also got to publish a product catalog and an ad in an international magazine. And while that was a really cool experience, I wanted to get more back into the analyst role that I was originally trained in. And I ended up taking a job working in the travel industry as a global distribution analyst. And I got to work with some of the data that's behind hotel and airline bookings. That really helped me understand how to build good reporting that connect to databases. And there are some really cool people that work in the travel industry. When I graduated from my MBA program, I wanted to embrace more of that role automating financial reporting. So I took a position doing exactly that in a completely different industry. And that was a really valuable experience for me where I learned a lot about deploying SQL, but also I learned even more about cultural fit within organizations. I only worked at that company for about a year before I chose to leave, and I didn't mesh well with the culture, and it made it hard to focus on my responsibilities. And ultimately, I chose to leave, and I ended up taking a new position working in manufacturing finance in the auto industry. Now, I grew up in Michigan, so the auto industry has always been something that I'm very passionate about, and it was a natural transition to go into financial controls for manufacturing because I was highly motivated to help the people that I work with, and that's what I'm still doing. I'm not going to talk about my employer. They're not affiliated with this training program, and these words and videos are my own views and opinions. Essentially, my day-to-day job is financial controls in a manufacturing environment. And while I'm not out there dealing on a day-to-day basis with Wall Street, I do understand what Wall Street looks for in terms of financial performance. I understand how those targets are disseminated within corporations, and I have years of experience analyzing those results for large corporations. So as we go through this, sometimes I'll give you examples based on my own experience. By having this background on me, it should give you some perspective on where I'm coming from. Ultimately, though, I just want to be clear that I am not a financial advisor. I call myself a portfolio coach, and that's because that's what I'm here to do, to coach you on how to manage your portfolio. Let's take a moment to talk about Toolshed Publishing. This is our parent corporation that we publish all of our software and information through. Toolshed Publishing is an organization that I started where our whole orientation is towards building tools and technologies that help make life decisions easier. Our goal is to help you make better decisions throughout your life while we aim to do that by providing technology, training materials, and coaching. So right now we have our portfolio degree program, our risk aversion quiz website, and our portfolio examiner website. We're primarily focused on investments at the moment. However, we do have some other programs in the works that we're currently considering. More on that to come, but right now I want to assure you that we're very focused on our investment training program and on supporting the growth of this community. This program is something that we're going to continue to support, to continue to work on and expand for many years to come. And like I said, we're trying to make tools that help make life decisions easier, and there are some other elements parallel to investments that may be worth exploring to see where we can branch out. And we're going to work through that on our end and see what we come up with. I think there are a few exciting things that we do have in the pipeline, so we'll see. Like we mentioned a moment ago, we view our mission as building tools that help make life decisions easier. Our values that we want to establish with you are that we want to spread knowledge in order to generate value to help others so that we can help level the playing field. A lot of this knowledge is very hard to come by unless you're in a classical education setting, not to mention without somebody around to help explain it. A lot of this can be very dense and hard to understand. So we're hopeful that with our methods and technology that we're able to simplify these concepts and help level the playing field and tilt the market in your favor. And with that, we just want to give a general statement on public responsibility. There seems to be a genuine questioning of corporations and the character of the people running them, so we just want to provide a statement that reflects how we feel about humanity in general. We believe that by working together, we can lift each other up. By knowing more about our investments, you'll be able to make more progress towards your goals and your community's goals. And by involving others and starting conversations, you can begin to build the foundations for your community to grow. We hope that our programs can act as guidance when you're looking to learn a little bit more. In terms of our logo, we do get some questions from time to time about what it means, so we just wanted to give you a quick explanation. In terms of the central pyramids, those are an old symbol that means ascension or growth. The inner circle designates unity and a representation of the fact that we're all one and we're here to work together to lift each other up. And then the outer pyramid is a symbol that represents knowledge. Then the tilt is a way to represent using the knowledge to help you gain advantage. In other words, tilting the market in your favor. So when you combine the meanings, to us it means ascension through unity and knowledge, which we feel is just a, sort of a fancy way of saying, let's help each other out. In terms of our privacy statement, we just want to cover this with you real quick. We constantly review our systems and data to ensure that we prevent the lowest risk to our customers and to your data. That's why we collect very little information about you other than essentially your email and a few other basic pieces of information to allow you to manage your accounts. We want our clients to know that privacy is something that we take very seriously, and we do everything necessary to maintain that trust. The U.S. government, which is the country that we operate within, has created specific offenses for unauthorized actions against computer systems and data, and we want to assure you that we will investigate any such actions and take civil proceedings to recover damages against any responsible individuals. We take your privacy very seriously. We also want you to know that in terms of our disclaimer, we just want to be fully transparent with you. Investing is risky. Invest at your own risk. These materials are intended for training purposes only. At no point throughout the training are the examples shown intended to indicate any bias towards a recommendation for or against the purchase of any particular stock. Our methods are intended to allow users to make comparisons in an effort to instill educational principles and help make understanding investment concepts easier. If you use the information presented to you in our materials or in our technology, we want you to understand that you do so at your own risk, and we do not accept any responsibility for any losses. Now, as we go through this and coach you on the information, you'll become more comfortable with it. Just keep in mind that we're constantly encouraging you to go and have conversations with financial advisors before you begin making any trades. That's because those individuals will know you and can judge your situation, and they're going to be able to better assess whether or not certain products are right for you. So please consult with an investment advisor before making any investments. The last thing that I want to cover is just something personal. When people write books, they dedicate them to the people that helped or inspired them. I want to dedicate this program to my wife, my children, and my friends and family. Now, I know that's a lot, but if it wasn't for their patience with me developing this over the years, I don't think it would have happened. They were always there to listen to me and question these ideas, and those conversations and trials have really helped me, over the years to better understand how to take this idea and turn it into something people can actually relate to. While I've never wavered in my belief in these concepts, there were many times where I questioned what kind of product it was and if I could actually bring it to market. And their questions and follow-up really helped me understand how to create an environment that's more relatable and a product that doesn't come across like I'm just a professor, in a classroom. I also want to thank my immediate family for all the time that they allowed me to dedicate to this. I'm very appreciative of that, and I hope that this community is too. So with that, let's wrap this up and get to it. Until next time, I'm Matt Franklin. Thank you for being here, and have a great day.